The trucks. When it comes to truck advertising, I've seen two approaches. The first is that it's a big vehicle and there is no point in trying to reinvent the wheel, so just slap the logo at the door and that's it. It's a massive vehicle and it will definitely be seen. The second approach is that it is necessary to use a full wrap solution, make it a big and fancy, fill the entire side with lots of information and colorful photos because one simply has to make the most of the large area. The first solution covers only the needs of a large and well-known brand. In the case of printing solution, everything really depends on what's on it. Yes, it's a large surface, but the viewer does not have the time to look and read a very detailed design. After all, vehicle is designed to be on the move. Generally, a truck or trailer has a large single-colored surface, usually white. So what is more easily noticeable? A large white area with only text on it, or a large many-colored area with an additional details? Thinking about the definition of mixed traffic, let me give you an example. City is actually a big buzzing environment with a million of details. If you tape your truck fully, then you are simply adding more and more details to the mix. So the information will be harder to absorb so quickly. As you see on the top of designs, the simple text are put to the edges of the trailer, as big as possible. This actually makes them a part of background information noise. There is no transition area, a calm down area. This is why I recommend to leave a free space between your information and truck's edges. This helps viewer to notice the info as their eyes do not need to filter first the background off. White area is that filter already. Now let's apply a disruptive graphics definition to these examples. Using same company colors but adding a distractor, the eye catcher, to the design. What do you think? Are those better noticeable than this from edge-to-edge design solution I showed you last slide? I think these are even better. When you see a large blue dot or a square riding in a traffic, you will watch because this distracts your attention. But you have a client who demands a usage of whole area. They are selling apples and they want to have apples on the truck. Well, if client demands, then they have to get this. So I made a few examples. Apple background and different color logo. Not putting what type of apples they are selling, where located and all the other details. But because this would make this too complicated even for so big area as truck side is. What do you think? Do you like those designs? I don't, especially those two at the top. They are not usable. First, black text, although a strong color, simply disappears to Apple's many detailed background. Same goes for orange text, as it is the same color group as red apples are. Lower white is better viewable, as also blue with its gold color type appears visible. But let's mix disruptive graphics to our design. You see here 3 adaptations for previous truck designs. If you look at the top left design, then white text is actually the disruptor here. But this is not a good design in my opinion, as the Apple picture is still dominating. So let's take the dominance from the Apple's back to our needed texts. Using disruptive graphics basics, I brought to the design a disruptor. White line on the top and the blue line at the bottom. Look at those designs and you see that Apple background is not dominating anymore. Simply focus point has shifted from the apples to the distractor, the stripe. Now viewer has noticed the truck and starting to look what this stripe is. And with that they now get to the text easily. Not the apples anymore, although the apples are still there. So with a little twist you have now turned the design from simply large colorful apple area to a delicious company truck design. So think of a simpler, cleaner solution. Yes, it may seem like wasting advertising space in that whole area isn't covered with information, but in reality, that's a plus. If you only have one apple and only one company name, then when you look at the truck advertising, you do not have a lot of details, so you get the information quickly. For example, here you see 4 trucks with 2 different design versions. One with just an apple on the white background and the second pair of designs where the apple is with a darker background. With the white background, I would like you to see that on the top version the logo has been lifted to the upper corner of the vehicle. This makes the logo better visible in the city areas where most distractors, like other passenger cars in the traffic, are on the lower level. So you see the logo above the traffic. Apple distracts and company logo is nicely readable. On the bottom, we have the same version on the white background design, but this time it's bigger. This will be likable to the more is better type of clients. On the right, you see an apple with a dark background. This dark surrounding will act like a distractor. It catches viewers' attention and points to the logo on the white area. Same principle, little bit different. As there are good examples, there are also not so good ones. Here is 2 of them for the same design ideas. On the left, you see a design where the apple is simply too big and is the only thing viewer gonna remember. Main focus should be remembering the logo. On the right, white area is filter for town information noise and brings out colorful apple picture with white text. Although the apple brings the viewer to the logo, it is actually at the same time disturbing you to read the logo text. Both of them would be nice when it would be standing somewhere, for example in a food festival. It would be a good place to remember, let's meet at the truck with the apple. And also then it would be mentioned as an apple truck, not a delicious company truck. So I have to say that do not use such designs. Food festival with food trucks is actually a good example where trucks are meant for close looking. However, even here you must remember that customers will not spend an indefinite amount of time admiring the design. It just has to be memorable, distinctive, but still not too detailed. Entice your viewers with simplicity. Even if it means full wrapping and full print, use the number of details wisely. For a food truck, all you need is your company name, a detail that sets you apart from others. It may be an image or your specialty dish, for example, and your contacts. Keep the menu separate from the design so that you can easily change it if necessary. For example, attach a blackboard vinyl so you can use a chalk, or a whiteboard vinyl so you can use a marker on a pre-planned area or use removable board. It's a bit of technical detail, but it's worth thinking about. Since we already started talking about technical details, then if the sides of the trailer are covered with soft tarpaulin, keep in mind that you must use a special vinyl when creating designs for it. However, in the case of tarpaulin graphics, it is also worth noting that the material does not tolerate constant wrinkling very well, and there's a chance it may start to peel off. Generally, the material tends to adhere to tarpaulin nicely, especially if it is taped to already used tarpaulin. As old material is full of road dirt to the deep core and the cleaning it is almost impossible, it's pretty hard to get the sticker stand there for a long time. It will gonna start to peel off soon. Design tips are okay, but let's go back to basics. First, always look for the vehicle you are going to design. For example, we were asked to find a design solution for my customer's new truck. Although we had been co-working about a decade and we have been taped them at dozens and dozens of trucks, we still get surprises. As you see in the picture, we were requested to tape one of their new trucks again. But this time we found a surprise. For the first time, The truck manufacturer delivered a truck with a small side window on the other side of the cabin. We found a solution, but lesson was learned. Always check the vehicle in all sides before taping and designing. This rule applies even if you are a business over a decade. This is something you have to look every time, and not only with truck cabin. Trucks have so many different versions, so check. If necessary, recheck. Here is another example. This is the same truck, but it has no doors on one side, but doors on the other side. This brings me to another theme I would like to teach you. Look closely. Those two trucks, do you see anything different with them? Apart the door in one side and not in the other side, of course. Probably not. Actually, the stickers are not at the same place on those both sides. On a side where there is no doors, the stickers are in the central position, but on the door side they are not. There, the stickers were put a little off from the center alignment, as door hinges would cut to the logos and the text not so nicely. So all text are actually moved. My point is that nobody sees both sides at the same time. It's okay to make small changes between sides if it makes a better result for the client. Simply keep the design details at the same. On the left, here you see a truck. What has stickers on it like brand manual has intended, and it's nice marketing messenger for the company. On the right side, you see also the same company truck, but has all those back stickers taped like they should, but is absolutely pointless as a marketing messenger. When this thing happens, who is to blame? My opinion is that only one who should have made a note of this, not usual vehicle type, is installer. Designer cannot think to all possibilities of truck versions, and company's project manager also maybe know only the truck size and registration number. But installer sees the whole truck and should have informed the situation to the company. But stickers were simply put as intended to the doors, but are behind the backlift there. My personal opinion is that installer should not have taped this, but requested a new modified design version. This modified design version could have been something like that. Here I have changed, with the approval of company's chief designer, the back-end design in a way that it will be a company's messenger again. Everybody who sees it understands whose truck this is. Yes, the information is smaller, but is still there and it is readable. So it brings out the message.